Hello everyone, this is Evan from Blaziken TCG, and today guys, I decided to just make a return to YouTube, I want to start making content a little more. So I'm going to just be doing a tournament report from the Toronto Regionals, which was a little over a week ago, but I didn't end up getting top 64 at that tournament. It was my first day 2 as a master, so that was pretty cool. I played Rotomless Snorlax, so this was the list. I'll just be going over the list really quickly, and then I'll be going over my matchups. So for the Pokemon, just 4 Snorlax, 2 Mimikyus, 1 Cornerstone, all pretty standard for Snorlax. Uh, the supporters, we have 4 Kofus. This is more of like a turbo build of Snorlax, Rotomless Lax, because we're playing like the Kofus, the Trekking Shoes, Pokestops, all of that. So we're just trying to like turbo through the deck, find the pieces we need for every combo as quick as possible. So we play 4 Kofus. This is kind of just like an aggressive draw supporter. Um, and Kofu feels kind of like a weaker draw supporter, but it's like the best one to play in Snorlax, in my opinion. Polaris's Experiment is overall a better card. However, that card is not usable in the Regidrago matchup because of Kyurem. So, um, you kind of have to play Kofu right now. 2 Aries, 2 Misfortune Sisters, just standard item removal cards. Um, 2 Silenes. The reason I played 2 Silenes over 1 Silene and 1 Team Y'all's Cheer is um, the Silene. You need to use Silene to recycle Lost Vacuums in the Cloth matchup. 2 Boss to trap stuff. 2 Pennies, 1 Zerosic, and 1 Iono. I mostly added the Zerosic for the Snorlax Mirror, but it's also really good against Gardevoir. And then Iono is also good against like Mirror, so you can go Zerosic and then Iono next turn, or Iono can just reset your hand if you just have a dead hand. 4 boxed orders lets you search for 2 item cards and end your turn. This is kind of your main engine for Rotomless Lax, because since you don't have the Rotom to draw 3 cards every turn, the boxed order kind of allows you to find those pieces that you need for the next turn. 4 Trekking Shoes, because like I said earlier, this is just a turbo build of Snorlax, so we're trying to just find the pieces we need every single turn. 4 Countercasher, 4 Gear, 4 Nest Ball, 4 Flute, 3 Night Stretchers, all very standard counts in Snorlax, 2 Pal Pads, 2 Lost Vacuums. So the reason that I decided, so the Lost Vacuums are for the Cloth matchup, so you can vacuum away all their booster capsules and then just wall with Mimikyu. So the reason I decided to play the vacuums over something like the Klefkis are overall better into the Cloth matchup, but in the Pokestop build specifically, vacuums, in my opinion, are better because you can vacuum away a Pokestop and use another one in the same turn. If you are not playing a Pokestop build, though, Klefki is better. Then 1 Heavy Ball, just in case we prize something, 1 Miracle Headset in case we discard uh, supporters we need, or we could like loop Silene or something like that. That's our 1 of A spec, and then 4 Pokestops. So now for the matchups. Um, yeah, and I did end up getting top 64 at the tournament. I'll be going into the matchups now. Round 1 was a Thorin's Bolt, which is a pretty decent matchup for me. Um, so I'm playing 2 vacuums. So if I hit 2 Iron Thorns off the flutes, then I can trap one of them. And if they Turo that 1 Iron Thorns, I can trap the other one. Um, and I can trap the other Iron Thorns with Mimikyu in the active spot, and vacuum away their future booster capsule, and then just keep gusting it up every turn with Mimikyu in the active, and they have to retreat 4 energies every turn, so they just run out of energies, and eventually their Iron Thorns get stuck. So game 1, I hit 2 Thorns and pulled off that strategy pretty perfectly. Game 2, my opponent had a line that he could have taken to win the game, and most likely we would have tied. I think if he had taken the line, he probably would have won. But he played an Iono and shuffled the hand into the deck, which was a game loss. So kind of unfortunate for my opponent there. Uh, then I played a Cloth. Both games, I just vacuumed all the booster capsules and then They couldn't get through Mimikyu. Um, well, that happened in game 1, and then game 2, while my opponent was trying to get through all the Mimikyus, he bench locked out of Pecharunt EX, so I was able to just go into a Snorlax strategy and just retreat lock him. Round 3, I hit another Cloth, and more or less just the same thing, just vacuumed all the booster capsules and won that way. Round 4, I hit a Golden Go. This one did play Palkia, which the Palkia makes the matchup a little bit harder because they have more answers to like Cornerstone and Mimikyu and stuff like that. But game 1, my flute hit Manaphy, and my opponent scooped. And then um, game 2, I played a Misfortune Sisters and hit Switch, and then next turn played another Sisters and hit Cologne, and my opponent scooped. So kind of just got lucky there, kind of just high rolled into a win against Golden Oath Palkia, which is already a good matchup. Um, so you know, uh, yeah. So I'm 4-0 at this point. Also, the Golden Oath Palkia opponent, he also did get top 64. So congrats to him. Round 5, I hit a Dragapult Dusknoir, which is a deck that I wasn't expecting to see very many of this weekend. Um, and my opponent played Thornton and Switch, so in theory the matchup is still okay if I hit 2 trappable Pokemon, but they just have so many options to just board wipe me that yeah, they can just like board wipe my whole board, and that is how I ended up losing one of the games. But game 1, I just hit like I think Rotom and Luminion, and he Thorntoned one of them away, and then I trapped the other one. He switched, and then I trapped it again. Game 2, I think I had like Luminion. I got Luminion out, and then um, and then I was just gonna like win by gussing up different stuff and um spreading the energies. But then my opponent was able to go like I think double Dusknoir plus Switch and knock out 3 Snorlaxes at once. And I wasn't able to. And I, since the previous turn, I hadn't been able to find the 4th Snorlax. I think I might have prized one of them, or maybe I like prized 2 and was able to only heavy ball for 1. But anyways, I did just get board wiped turn 2, or game 2, I mean. And then game 3, we had about 20 minutes left in the round, and my opponent, I offered my opponent a gentleman's agreement based off board state because I did not want to tie at this point in the tournament. And we did end up tying, but I had my opponent trapped, and my opponent was super cool and honored the gentleman's agreement. So huge shout out to them. Because I know a lot of the time at regionals, opponents won't honor the gentleman's agreements, but my opponent did, which was very nice. Round 6, I hit a Turbo Moon, which is just an auto loss matchup. Um, Both games he got Pecharunt and Baby Moon down, and I scooped. The match was over in about 10 minutes. So I took my first loss of the day here. I'm 5-1. So I'm actually really nervous at this point because I have to win one game and then get a tie to make it into day 2. So I'm just, worried about losing the next 2 games or something like that. But round 7, I hit. So my opponent, when he was shuffling, showed me like a Professor Sawdust or something, and I was like, "Come on, is this really another moon?" And then my opponent flipped over a Raging Bolt, and I was ecstatic because Raging Bolt is a very good matchup for my deck. Um, Game 1, my opponent went for like a risky play, I think, where he, um, so I flipped over the Snorlax, and my opponent was going first because I won the flip. I'm pretty sure. So my opponent was going first, and his hand was dead, but he benched Squawkabilly and squawked away his hand, which did include a Prime Catcher, which I don't know if that was the right move or not. Like from his perspective, the matchup is very bad unless you just like unless you just capitalize on the Snorlax player bricking or something. So from his perspective, maybe it was correct to just get a new hand and just hope that I like passed with one Pokemon the next turn or something. But I did end up getting fully set up and just gusted the Squawkabilly until he ran out of switch cards. Uh, Game 2, my opponent opted second. I started Mimikyu and passed, or I used like a box order or something, but I just ended the turn with one Mimikyu, and my opponent got the Slitherwing Donk. So game 3, My opponent, I believe, prized the Slithering because they used Nest Ball multiple times and never got the Slithering out. So I just spammed Flutes and bench locked out of Slithering in case he drew it off the prize cards, and then just sat there with Mimikyu and waited for him to deck out. Um, my opponent, I believe, was trying to play for a tie. Like they were just making a bunch of random plays that didn't have any effect on the game, just to burn time. So we were actually kind of close to tying, but luckily, uh, I ended up um, running away with that one. So I'm 6-1 at this point. I am faced with a choice here. I can either offer the ID to guarantee myself a spot in day two, or I can play it out for a better record to try and play for a better result in day two, but I risk losing the next two games and not making day two at all. So round eight. So I decided that I was just going to sit down and ask my opponent what they were going to play, just to see if they give me any hint as to what I would be playing against. And depending on what the matchup is, I will um, either offer ID or play it out. And my opponent said they were playing Zard with Cologne, which I think is kind of an even matchup. Maybe slightly favored for me, but I think it's pretty even. And my opponent also said that he knows the matchup very well, so I just took the ID to not chance losing because a lot of people will not take the ID at 6-2. So if I lose this match, I would more than likely have to play out the last run. So I'm 6-1-1 at this point. I have to basically win out to get top cut. Round 9, I hit Reagan Retzloff on Lugia, which Lugia is another matchup that is basically just an auto loss. Um, Game 1, he was able to like discard the Squawkabilly and all of that, so I just scooped. There was no win condition for me. Game 2, my flutes kind of went crazy, and I bench locked him out of Archeops, and also got the Squawkabilly. And I believe his legacy was prized as well. Uh, so his only route to victory there would be like legacy, and then jet into Luminion, and then maybe bench hands, and then even if I trap the Squawk, he can just hit for 22 turns, and then jet into Iron Hands to take 2 prizes. Because I would have to find Penny every second turn. But I did end up actually getting game 2, and then game 3, my opponent, he was bench locked, with like Lugia V Star, Archeops, Minccino, Blood Moon, Weird Ear, and something else with an ability. So I just so I knew already that he was playing just the 1-1 line of Cinccino. So I was like, okay, if I penny into a lone cornerstone here and his Cinccino is prized, I win the game. And that was the only win condition I had, so I went ahead and did it. And the Cinccino was not prized. If it had been prized, I would have won the game, and that would have been crazy to have gotten a win against Lugia, which is one of my worst matchups. But I ended up losing there. So 6-2-1 into day two. I'm a bit frustrated because like I'm thinking maybe that ID in round 8 was not the right play. Maybe I should have played it out. I could have been 8-1 at this point, but I'm 6-2-1, so I'm out of top cut. A bit frustrated about that, but I'm not out of cash yet. I can still get top 32. Round 10, I hit Golden Glow Togekiss, and he was not playing Cologne, so it was just kind of an easy 2-0. Round 11, I hit a Golden Go with Palkia and Togekiss in the deck, and I won game 1, and then the opponent said the matchup was just an auto loss, so he just scooped game 2. So I'm 8-2-1 at this point. I have to win 2 more to get top 32. Round 12, I'm against Dragapult Thorns, which is kind of a good matchup. So yeah, another Dragapult Thorns, and I just won 2-0. So I'm on the winning end for what I thought was top 32, and turns out that it's top 16 because my opponent got like 14th place. So I am still super frustrated about this game. Uh, so it was Cloth, which is like a slightly favored matchup for me. Game 1, I vacuumed all the booster capsules and won. Game 2, I got donked. Game 2, I might have misplayed because I was going first, had Snorlax in the active, no way to search out a Pokemon, but I played Choose and drew into Headset. So I could either take the headset and hope he whiffs the donk, or discard the headset and hope that I find a way to get a Pokemon so I don't get donked. And I took the headset. So that might seem like a misplay, but my logic was that um, the odds of me finding a way to get a Pokemon were not, they didn't outweigh the odds of him just whiffing the donk entirely. And if I take the headset, I'm risking losing a quick game. And if I discard the headset, if I if he whiffs the donk and I set up, I'm risking losing a long game. And risking losing a quick game seemed much better, so I could have enough time to finish one more game and not tie. Because a tie would more than likely put us both out of cash. And he got the donk, so that might have been a misplay. I think I don't know if I made the correct choice or not, but um got donked game 2. Um and then game 3, this is where this is the most frustrating part of the tournament. Um I had my opponent trapped. He had no way to win. Well, he obviously did have a way to win since I lost, but the only way I could lose was if I decked out first. I had 2 Silenes. The first Silene hit double tails. The second Silene hit double tails. So 4 tails in a row to lose me the game. I needed 1 heads to get back Palpad, and then Palpad back the Silenes and infinitely loop my deck. But you know, just unlucky there. 6.25% chance, and that's how my tournament ended. But there you have it, guys. That is my tournament run, 48th place with Snorlax. Um, kind of frustrated that I missed out on $2,000 to 4 tails in a row, but I guess there's always going to be a next time. So yeah, hopefully I'll just be able to get a better result at the next regional. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.